Hello, YouTube friends. Gail's here to play another only one of any asset game. This one is called Sanctuary. Um, they're mowing the yard or doing some kind of yard work outside. Um, so if you hear a humming sound, that's probably what it is. Just just so you know. I don't care though. I've waited so long to play some of these games. I want to play them now. So I've had them all saved up in my playlist. From because of art fight and whatnot. I've been busy, been on vacation and all that. I haven't had a chance to play some of the games I've been saving up in my menus, and this is one of them. So let's start. Oh, before we get started, nice looking menu screen. This looks like, I don't know, I'm guessing a fox, but it could be a wolf or a dog or some kind of, canine animal. It looks pretty interesting. I'm guessing this is like sanctuary. That makes me think like a church or something. So that's my guess, but I'm not sure yet. I feel pretty filled with flowers. It's nice. Little bench. Some rain, trees. Pretty cool. All right, let's do it.
The rain fell softly in the ruins of the abbey.
Oh, we get some voice acting. That's nice. Always nice, because then I don't have to talk as much.
The church grim opens his eyes wearily. His existence is lonely and gray.
Oh, that's a nice little, looks like rain effect, or is it snow? I'm not sure. Some kind of a little effect. That's pretty cool, though.
It had been hundreds of years since he'd seen the colors of the world. But he doesn't care. Time moves too quickly for the grim. He has outlasted all of the things he cherished. He recalls his most painful loss. It was...
I don't know. The Royal Griffin, sure.
Almost a millennia ago, the Grim was known as the Barghest. He was a mythic so powerful that many called him the Paragon. He was the Royal Griffin's most trusted friend. But King Tyr, the ruler of mythic kind, sent the Royal Griffin to the Neverplace, exiling the Grim into the human world. The witch is here again. The Grim hears her walking stick clattering on the uneven terrain, but it is barely audible above the sound of the rain.
Hello there, you lovely boy. I've got some clean water, new food, and a pull toy, if you'd like to try them.
The witch keeps coming and leaving enough supplies so the Grim doesn't need to hunt or scavenge. He gave up trying to look after himself long ago. But ever since the witch found him, she's taken care of his needs. At first, she cleaned his wounds and healed him, then comforted him gently, even though he was matted and dirty.
So is the Grim like that wolf or fox creature we saw in the beginning? That's what I'm guessing anyway. Interesting. Nice to see that this one has some narration, because, the past two ones that I hadn't, and one executed it well, one not so well, so it is hard to do. So it's good that we're getting a little bit of background information here. Glad to see that.
He was so listless, he didn't resist. Now she considers him her friend. But she's a witch, and mythics can't trust witches. The Grim couldn't trust anyone, not mythics, not humans, not even God. God let too many bad things happen to good people. He has never accepted her food or drink offerings when she is present, but takes them once she's gone. They always make him feel better.
Here, try these. I made them myself.
They're small pellets, some kind of dry food. The Grim cowers when she outstretches her hand towards him. The witch isn't angry at his refusal. She puts them on the overgrowth.
Maybe later? I'll leave everything behind. Take what you feel and I'll come back in a few days.
The Grim watches the witch slowly stand up. She understands he isn't sociable today, gently waves and indicates her departure.
Stay safe now.
She always says the same thing when she leaves.
I can't wait to see you again. So please, keep trying your best to stay with us.
The world feels less gray each time she says it. It's raining again. Winter is hard in the Abbey. The weather is restless, and the mud cakes the Grimm's impacted coat. Despite the storm, his singular visitor arrives. She looks weather-beaten and sounds winded. Rain or shine, she comes to see him.
Interesting that it's raining, yet we can see the stars and the moon. If it was raining, you think it would be more cloudy. But once again, it's only one of any asset, so maybe they were limited by that.
I don't suppose you're feeling peckish. I made them myself. All natural, I promise.
The witch puts the food in her hand and offers it to the Grimm. The Grimm.
Sure, I like food.
The witch's face brightens as he takes from her hand.
I like that it's in color now, like they said. It looks a little less gray, so I guess that's metaphorical or supposed to be metaphorical or something. I don't know if... I don't think the world was actually gray, or maybe it was just him, like a symbol of him growing stronger or something, or seeing the world differently. I don't know. I get the feeling it's supposed to be more metaphorical than literal, but maybe that's just me.
I'm so glad. I hope we can become even better friends.
Character sprite, it's pretty cute. I guess it's cut off because so we could see the shadow of... Is that a shadow or is that a path? It's kind of unclear. Maybe that's a path and I'm wrong. I thought it was a shadow at first, but now I'm not so sure. I wonder why it's cut off, though, if that was it's an interesting choice, because we know this is going to be the only sprite we see in the game. So it's an interesting choice that they'd have it over here on the side and cut off so we don't even get to see the whole thing.
He allows her to pet him. After spending a short while in his company, she smiles as she leaves.
I can't wait to see you again, so please, keep trying your best to stay with us.
The world feels darker today, but there is no end for the Grimm. He will never experience the long sleep. He must witness this world until the end of days. He thinks it's better to be alone, or he will feel the pain of loss all over again. The witch arrives swiftly. She puts her arms around him, even though it spoils her beautiful dress, to warm him.
You're terribly cold. I'm worried for you, boy. Just for tonight, won't you come to my farm? You could do whatever you like when you get there. But I can't stand the thought of you being here alone.
She doesn't even know he's a mythic. If she finds out, will she still help him? Will she still be kind to a stray like him?
I mean, I'm not really sure what they mean by mythic, but she is a witch, right? So isn't she kind of magical? I'm guessing mythic means like a legendary beast or something like that. Isn't she magical too? Because she's a witch? I don't know.
She then sounds emotional when she adds,
but maybe the Grimm is just like very, what's the word? Cynical, untrusting, or whatever. Very, definitely low security. We're getting that feel for sure.
I won't give up on you, even if you've given up on yourself.
The Grimm?
Sure. Let's go to the farm.
The church Grimm reveals his true nature to Alice. He stands up, not as a beast, but as a man.
Oh my goodness me, you're very tall, aren't you?
Oh, so he's like some kind of werewolf, I'm guessing? Mythic. Why wouldn't they say werewolf if that's what he is? Maybe he's not a werewolf. Maybe I'm just jumping to conclusions, something completely different. I don't know the lore of this world or whatever.
Let's get a move on. Otherwise, you'll be chilled to the bone.
So the voice acting has been good, but that definitely was a woman's voice. So, and it's supposed to be a man? I mean, okay, I understand. It's only one of any asset, so, but I don't know.
Alice smiles and nods.
What should I call you?
Gregory Alfern.
Hello, Gregory. It's lovely to meet you. I'm Alice. Alice Dogood.
It's just kind of, what's the word? Immersion breaking, I guess. When, when it's obviously a woman trying to speak as a man. I mean, I'm not trying to judge because, I am, being constructive criticism, giving constructive criticism, so I am kind of judging. But I'm saying I'm not a good voice actor, so I can't speak. I can't, my male voices are terrible too. So I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I'm just saying it's a little immersion breaking when it's obviously not the kind of voice you would expect. Let's put it that way. So for me, I would rather, considering this is supposed to be limitations of this GM specifically, I probably would not include a voice for the Grimm, especially since it's, I played VN visual novels before where the main character doesn't have a voice because we're role playing as them, and perhaps you could even argue it's they want to leave it up to the reader to self-insert their own voice or whatever. So I think it would be more understandable to not have a voice for Gregory or Grimm or whoever, they're the same person, I guess. Anyway, let's keep moving. That's just a little minor constructive criticism.
Despite his defensive manner, he follows her lead, and his world begins to fill with color again.
Ending want new beginnings. Cool. So I'm guessing the other endings is probably where Gregory or Grimm doesn't choose to go with her and stays, in the ruin and stays antisocial and stuff. So that's interesting. Do we want to see that ending? Sure, why not? It's a short game.
The rain fell softly in the ruins of the abbey.
We can skip, though.
Just 3 weeks ago, the church he protected since his favorite human died was flattened to build new offices. He was chased away without a second thought. The builders called him a stray dog.
Okay, it took me a while to absorb the meaning of this. So, because it's kind of oddly phrased. Just 3 weeks ago, the church he protected since his favorite human died was flattened to build new offices. So, not to nitpick. I don't want to get nitpicky, but you definitely need like some commas here. Or you need to rearrange the sentence a little bit. Maybe since his favorite human died, the church he protected was flattened to build new offices. I think that would make a little more sense because it's talking about, so he had a favorite human, an owner, caretaker, friend, however you want to call it, I guess. But that person, I guess now that we know that he's a man and not, just a beast, I guess we shouldn't say owner. That sounds kind of wrong. Maybe it was just like his best friend or something. So they died. Maybe they were like a priest or some kind of church. That would be my guess. Something to do with the church. They died, and then so the church was demolished to build new offices. So he's in the ruins, I guess. The ruins of... Because he can't be in the church ruins because those were demolished to build new offices. So the offices would be there, right? Interesting. Anyway, I'm just trying to wrap my head around the story and make... I mean, obviously, because this is, so limited with the number of words, we're not going to get as good a picture as we could with something without those limitations of smaller words. I think they did a decent job, at least, of getting the information that we need to fill in the blanks, so to speak. I think they did a pretty decent job of doing that. So, considering the limitations, anyway. He was chased away without a second thought. The builders called him a stray dog.
Perhaps that's all he is now, a stray. So the Grimm made his home in the ruins. It felt appropriate. It was desolate and ancient, just like him.
I'm a little confused. Why do they call him the Grimm? Is there some kind of mythology behind that maybe I'm not aware of? That's what I get the feeling anyway. The only thing I could think of is Grim Reaper, but I'm pretty sure he's not that. He's more like some kind of shapeshifter or werewolf, so I don't know. The Grim makes me think of Grim Reaper, but I don't think that's what it's referring to. I just find it kind of unusual that that's what they refer to. I think it would make more sense to call him what kind of beast he is. They don't really clarify it. They say they called him a stray dog, but that doesn't necessarily means that he takes the form of a dog. It could still be a wolf or some other creature that are just mistaken for a dog. That happens all the time. But if we're Grimm, then sure, or Gregory, or whoever, whatever. See, this is why I'm getting confused, because it switches from the Grimm, calling him the Grimm, to calling him Gregory by his name. But if we're playing as Gregory, which is the perspective that we're getting, shouldn't we know who we are? Shouldn't we know our name is Gregory? Shouldn't we know this information? So, and this kind of came up in the last one that I played. I think it did a little bit better, but I still don't feel a strong connection to Gregory, because once again, information is being withheld from us on purpose. And I understand. Okay, I understand the motivation behind it from a writer's perspective. You want the mystery, you want the big reveal to be, wow, he's not an actual beast, he's not an actual Grimm, he's just a person. I understand that's where what you're trying to execute, but it would be more well executed if we were to say, taking it from the witch's perspective, maybe. Because I think that would have been made a little more sense if okay, when you want to write mystery, I'm sorry I'm getting a little preachy here, but when you want to write mystery well, you need to do it so that the reader is on the same page as the protagonist, because otherwise it's going to feel like information is being purposefully withheld from the reader, and they're not going to make that connection to the protagonist. So if our mystery is that the Grimm is more than just the Grimm, that he's a person named Gregory, but the reader doesn't know that, to me, it would make more sense if the story was told from the witch's perspective. And then maybe we could be the ones trying to convince the Grimm or Gregory to trust us. That would make, I think, a little more sense in terms of delivering the mystery well. But that's just my opinion. I'm getting off track. Let's get back on track. So, anyway, right, the Grimm. I do like that by playing
The witch is here again. The Grimm hears her walking stick clattering on the uneven terrain, but it is barely audible above the sound of the rain.
I do like that by playing through this again, I am getting a better picture of the backstory and whatnot. I like that. I like that we're getting to know Gregory more. So that's a positive anyway. We already read this part, so we can skip. All right. So this time we're going to try to get the, I'm guessing it's going to be a less happy ending.
I suppose I'm just a strange woman to you, aren't I? I know people can be cruel to older dogs like you.
After spending a short while in his company, she smiles as she leaves.
I can't wait to see you again, so please, keep trying your best to stay with us.
The world feels darker today, but there is no end for the Grimm. He will never experience the long sleep. He must witness this world until the end of days.
I'm gonna look up the Grimm, because I'm curious if there's like some kind of lore behind it that I don't know. Okay, it was in Harry Potter. Is that where it came from? I've heard of Bargus before, but they don't keep calling him Bargus. They call him the Grimm. So it's a Harry Potter thing, it looks like. That's what comes up anyway. And it could be just a coincidence. Maybe the author didn't know. Maybe the author has no idea about Harry Potter. But that's what came up when I looked it up. So I was just curious if there was any lore behind it or if it's just something they made up. Because I mean, I've never heard of it before. I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, in case it's not obvious. So I didn't know that. So anyway, let's keep going though.
He thinks it's better to be alone, or he will feel the pain of loss all over again. The witch arrives swiftly. She puts her arms around him, even though it spoils her beautiful dress.
Seen this before. All right, we're staying at the ruins this time.
The witch nods gently and sits beside him.
We'll get to know each other a little better. I'll stay here tonight, and once the storm has passed, I'll be on my way. If you'd like to come with me, then the invitation is open.
The witch places her throw around the Grimm's body. It feels warm. He looks at her beside him. His world fills with color.
Unexpected companion. Okay, that was sweet. I thought it was going to be sadder than that. I thought it was like, gonna pass on or run away or something. But that's good. I don't like, I mean, it is what it is. All right, so let's review. Let me take a minute to gather my thoughts. I mean, it'll be like a second to you guys because I'm going to clip this video anyway. But okay, so I liked it. It was good. I think it did a good job of giving us information. I especially liked going back and by going back and choosing different options, we got a better picture of the story. That's fun and it encourages playability. And that is why it's fun for these shorter games to go back and try something different. And I feel like we got a good idea of what the witch is like, even in a short amount of time, which is very impressive. We got a good idea of what the witch is like as a character and Gregory was like as a character, which I like that. That's good. The art was pretty good. I'm still a little confused about why the witch was pushed to the side and cut off the way it was when it's only sprite on the screen. I think that was a kind of an odd choice. But I did like the design from what I could see. It was a little dark on the dark side too. But I did like what I could see. And it definitely did a good job of capturing the mood. The whole starting off in black and white is interesting. And then it gains color perhaps as Gregory is making a new friend and finding a reason to live. I mean, it sounds kind of depressing if I put it that way, but that's pretty much what I got from it anyway, because I got it was definitely more metaphorical, I think, than physical. More about his emotional state than a physical state. So on the constructive criticism side, I think, once again, it would have been made more sense to tell the story from the witch's perspective, given what the mystery was. I think we could have connected a little bit better with her than we could Gregory, because Gregory was the mystery. Gregory was the one who we didn't know much about at the beginning. I mean, we didn't know much about the witch either, but that was never explained. That wasn't the mystery. We get an idea of her character, that she's a good person, that she cares about Gregory, and that's sweet. So that, I just think it would have made more logical sense if, when you're trying to create a mystery, not to have the mystery be about the character you're trying to role play as, to connect as, or, because you're not on the same page. You don't know the things they know. You don't really know who he is or what he is. And that brings me to my next point for constructive criticism. The lore and while it's interesting, it is interesting, don't get me wrong. It's the terminology that kind of throws me off. I didn't know what the Grimm was. I had to look that up. And even when I looked it up, it didn't seem like an actual thing outside of maybe Harry Potter. So if you haven't seen Harry Potter, you're probably not going to know what the Grimm is. I did recognize Bargus from lore, but once again, if you don't know anything about lore, you're probably not going to know what that is. If you're not from, it comes from England, right? If you're not familiar with that kind of lore, you're not going to know what that is. So I think I would have preferred a terminology like wolf, or, he did get eventually shown from the dog, and we do have a clue here on the main screen. So I guess that's a good clue for the mystery of what Gregory is. And then, of course, we didn't know that Gregory was Gregory, that he was an actual person with an actual name until the very end. That was the whole big reveal, I guess. And once again, I mean, it's a jam with less than 1,000 words, so it is going to be it is going to be a challenge to get that clarity, to get that connection with the characters. And I think it did a good job given the limitations. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day. See you again soon. Bye.